about visual content, and we do a lot of infographics and visual strategies and image strategies for businesses. But I actually, maybe it's not a good thing for my business, but I'm actually very passionate about helping you guys do it yourself and to not need an agency to do a lot of this stuff. Now, a lot of you will have designers and teams, and that's great, and some of you won't. So I want to sort of get a balance so you can all learn how to do this without having a massive design team behind you. The thing is, you'll probably say to me, I'm not creative. I don't have a designer, and I don't have time to create original visual content. And my answer to you is that you do have time. You can be creative with the tools I'm about to show you, and you do have the ability to design and do all of those things without needing a massive design team. So I'm going to show you with 3 essential steps today to create original visual content that people love to share, and then just take it a little bit further. So the first is to create the original content. The second is to involve your fans. Okay, and I'll give you some examples of that. And the third is to seize the moment. Now, you've already been let in on a little secret today that it's not actually about what you create as a brand, and it's not even about what you create and share. It's not even about what your fans or your customers or your community is sharing for you. The holy grail is when they're creating content about your brand and sharing it, about your destination and sharing it. Okay, so can I ask a question? Who here would like, or who here in the last 24 hours has been so compelled by an image that you just had to click on it, tweet it, share it, comment on it, or like it? Put your hand up if you, yes? Okay. And how would, and hands up if you would like everyone out there irresistibly clicking on your content and sharing it like wildfire. Yeah, I know I do. All right, and I have a little spot quiz for you. Can you raise the nearest mobile device or digital device that you have? We hold those a little bit too close, don't we? We are at a digital conference. Okay, so but can someone hold up, where's one that you've got there? What do you call that? A phone? A phone? I guess you're correct, yes, it is a phone. But it's not just a phone. It's a radio. In fact, it's an entire radio station. People can create and listen to any podcast they want. In fact, right as we're speaking, Ford and all the major cars are putting podcast device, like specific podcast technology into all the cars. So you can drive into your driveway and pick up on the latest episodes, ad-free. It's also a newspaper. It's a publishing house. You can publish blogs, you can publish social media posts and articles, all from your phone or from your digital device. It's also a television. Anyone here can create their own visual content to the point that you can even create your own TV show if you really want to, and you can be quite successful with it. So the point that I want to make is that we're not just working in social media and you're not just a destination, you're actually a media company. You're publishing content, you're a publishing house essentially, and that's the way the world is going. We are publishing content and the successful businesses are actually thinking that way, that they are a publishing company. So before I get into some of the creating the visual content, I just wanted to zip through why I want you to understand about this visual content and why it's important to understand why we need to create original visual content. So there's been a shift to visual social media, and there's a few 100 million reasons why this is important. Of all the social sites, Pinterest is the one that is sending the most traffic next to Facebook to websites. YouTube has 6 billion hours of video watched every month. Now, there's only 7 billion people in the world. That's just crazy. Facebook is uploading 350 million photos daily, and Snapchat just blitzed that to 400 million photos, even though they disappear. Instagram's reached 200 million monthly users, which is actually quite insane because they were only at 100 million last year, so it's doubling very quickly. And LinkedIn, if you think that all of these platforms are just, if it's just the visual platforms we need to think about for images, well then you need to think again, because LinkedIn and Twitter are also very image-centric. On LinkedIn, you can post videos and slide shares and images. Okay, so if you are thinking about if you're having a LinkedIn profile for your destination or even for yourselves, which is very important, use images, you really start to stand out. And Twitter is becoming very image-centric as well. So images that are posted on Twitter get twice the number of retweets. So it's everything is becoming image-centric. None of the platforms are avoiding images. It's all We've gone from text to images. So I talk about it being a shift to visual social media, and in fact, it's probably a return. It's a return to communicating visually. And you only need to go as far as the ancient Egyptian Facebook to see why Mark Zuckerberg wasn't really that clever. If you look closely at this, what are they doing? They're worshipping grumpy cats and posting images on a wall. Nothing's really changed. But if you zoom in, when was the last time you posted some of your food on a wall? We've been doing it for centuries. So anyone that complains about, they're holding, see the animals they've been hunting? Anyone that complains about how, we post images on walls, you can just say to them it's been happening for a very long time. So why do we react so much to images and to visual content? We're emotionally connected to images, and we react to them emotionally from the moment we're born. And we react quicker to an image than any other form of content. Now, I love video, I love blogs, and I love audio, but you don't get that instant emotional connection that you do with an image. And I heard some research recently, it's 13 milliseconds it takes for us to identify and process an image. You don't get that quickly with other mediums. And when there's so much noise out there, it's really important that when you post something up, people connect with it as quickly as possible. There's so much information that people are just learning how to filter out information. They don't have to see your content if they don't want to. So using images really helps to catch attention. And I liken attention to eyeballs. And I really think of reach as being, if you get eyeballs on your content, that's reach, okay? They say that this number of people are seeing your content as it goes through the newsfeed. And this is on any newsfeed, in fact. The issue is, you can get eyeballs on your content, but unless you catch the attention of those eyeballs, it's just going to pass on down the newsfeed. So you need to be able to find a way to catch attention, and original visual content does that. If you get the attention, then you can move on to engagement, and then you can move on to someone taking action on your content, and from there you might be able to, hopefully, get a great brand advocate that just loves you so much. They love what you do, they love your business, they love staying there, they love going on your tours, they love you so much they just tell everyone that they know. And that's not because of anything that you ask them to do, it's just that you've helped them or they've found some great experience through you. So the first step, as I said, is to create original visual content. And I want to jump straight into the tools so that you can go away with so it's mainly so you don't panic while I'm showing you all this and think, how am I going to do it? The first one is Canva. Who's used Canva here? Not a lot of people. Okay. Canva is an amazing Australian company. Started up in Sydney, and we've got about 500,000 users now. When you go and check out canva.com, would you please promise me you'll set a timer and or have a family member pull you out because you get very addicted. The beauty of Canva is it's a DIY design tool. So up on the left, you can see they're just blog post images. I can take any one of those, swap out the text, swap out the image. It's all drag and drop. I can change the colours. I can add my own branding. If you're not creative, you can jump on Canva and create an image in seconds. The one on the top right, I did in just a minute. And I used the smaller image on the left there to swap it around, just to make a quote. And as you can see along the bottom, you can do Pinterest images. This entire slideshow is done on Canva using Shutterstock images. You can do infographics, you can do all sorts of things, Twitter banners, Pinterest images. So it's a great tool to use and really easy. And if you're a designer, it's not just for beginners. Designers can use it and create some amazing content as well. The second one is PicMonkey. Has anyone used PicMonkey? Yeah. That was probably popular, especially before Canva came out, so I use both now. PicMonkey is a photo editing tool, and you can do great things on there as well. It's not just about editing photos. We can do text overlays and add little images, and it's got some really funky things. And if you have celebrations happening, like Halloween and Christmas, they've got really cool little logos and tricks and tips you can add to your photos. This next one is word swag, and I caused a real flurry when I was speaking at Social Media Marketing World in the States. So I let a couple of friends know about it before I was speaking. Then I had to pay them to not say anything about it. They were so excited. But they were making all these images during the sessions leading up to my session, and just making these really great quotes, and it's beautiful typography. Here's an example of what you can create with word swag. Word swag will make you look like a design ninja. It's mainly words, but if you want to do a quick tip or a quote or something to do with your destination, it's a great tool. And the last one is PictoChart, just because I'm going to show you some infographics and I don't want you to go into panic mode that I will never be able to do that and it's too expensive. Yes, you can do high-end infographics, but PictoChart it's not free, but you can get a free period and then it's not much per month. So you can create some really great templates, change out the colours, change out the logos, and provide some useful content for your audience. So now that you've got the tools, hope that's all right. Hope somebody's not too injured. Yeah, don't panic. Now that you've got the tools, there's a number of different types of images that you can create. Now, there's more than this, but these are the ones that I find do really well and they're really easy for you to create. So the first one is quotes. Now, no matter what you say, quotes do well on social media, and I did a search here for travel quotes on Pinterest. I could have searched for motivational quotes, could have searched for surfing quotes, camping quotes, whatever. There's hundreds of them, okay? And they do really well. People just love to share quotes. Here's an example of one on the left that Sunshine Coast Tourism has done. This is a professional photo and then added, repurposed it into a quote series and they've pinned it to Pinterest. The one on the right shows that you don't even have to have an image. You can just have a chalkboard or a whiteboard or some liquid chalk in your cafe. Just get creative with what you're taking photos of. With clients I've worked with before, we've found that with quotes, we've had up to, even pages with only 1,000 fans, up to 20 to 100 to 1,500 shares of quotes, but the key is putting this content out consistently. If someone's posting content consistently every morning at the same time, the same sort of message, or the same type of content, and it's good content, then they will be more likely to get their content shared. So something as simple as posting out simple quotes or tips can be really beneficial and you'll get your content shared, even on Facebook where it's harder to get your content shared at the moment. Another one is checklists, and we as humans like the cheat sheet and the easy option. We like everything wrapped up for us so we don't have to think about what we're doing. I could go and get all this information on the net, but I don't really want to. And if someone packages it up for me, it's easy for me to find. Travel checklists obviously are very obvious. These are some other ones that I found. 100 best places to stuff your faces from Portland in the US, and 40 things to do in London. Now here's the thing, you don't have to be the London Tourist Bureau or whatever to do the London checklist. You can be a cafe in London, or you could be an accommodation place. You can provide associated content around your region, okay? And the thing is, I couldn't find a lot of this type of content on Pinterest. I had to go searching a bit. So if anyone's thinking about doing this, there's a lot of opportunity for you to stand out. So with all of these images I'm going to go through, I want you to just think about making your content snackable. Make it easy for people to process, easy for them to digest, if you will. And if you think about it, we tend to be on our mobile devices in the morning. We shouldn't be, but we are when we wake up in bed or whatever. And then in the evening. And during the day, generally, people are on laptops or desktops. So that's a great time to put out images in the morning or the afternoon, but longer blog posts and more heavy material maybe during the day. Not always that way, but it's a good way to sort of at least get started. Tips is another one. Sit down and think about your 10 frequently asked questions and then your 10 should ask questions, like the need to know stuff. Write them down and put them into images. This one is a perfect example of an image that doesn't need any words. It's how to spot a rip at the beach. Now, I just went, my husband tries to explain this to me all the time. I'm not very good at it, but just seeing it in an image with 2 arrows, we often gravitate to the image first and then we go to the description for further information. So the more you can make an image stand alone, the better. And this is one of Kaz and Craig's travel tips. And it's another example of how you can provide tips to set yourself up as being an expert in your industry or in your area. And then people will come to you for information, even if you're a small business or a small DMO. And another type of image is a how-to. So it's any sort of image that shows a process or a sequence or how to do something. You can even think of a photo sequence if there's something that you're trying to show people. You could be an accommodation house showing people how to surf. There's lots of different things that you can do with this. This one here, and I know it's not about travel, but it's about smoothies. I like green smoothies, so I used it. It's not a smoothie recipe, it's a smoothie formula. This is a real how-to image where it solves people's problems. I can't get past our current smoothie recipe. What do I do if I want to change it up? 2 cups of leafy greens, 2 cups of liquid base, and 3 cups of ripe fruit. this is not just out on Pinterest, it's housed on their blog. And I hate to say it, I'm another one of those crazy bloggy people that's going to stand here and say, your blog is your home base, your website is your home base. So any content you produce, please post it on your website. Don't just put it out on Facebook and leave it to be out into the ether. Another type of how-to is where you've got just a how to do this, 9 tips for, and putting it on an image as a header on a post on your page or your blog post will allow people to get a quick idea of what they're clicking through to, because these images get moved. They get moved from your blog post over to Pinterest. I'll explain this in a moment, but you need to consider that they stand alone as much as possible. So you just tease them with the heading. This is another it's kind of an infographic how-to, but it's 12 hours in Brisbane. What will you do in 12 hours in Brisbane? Now, I found this randomly on Pinterest, and guess who made this? A car hire company. So they knew that if they produced information that's useful to their target audience, I found their car. I didn't even know about car travel. I do now because of this infographic that's useful to me. This one I love. Good on your TEQ. The reason why I love this is it's not... See, infographics are traditionally data-driven. There's lots of data made pretty. They put lots of pretty pie charts turned into turtles or whatever. And this one I like because it's helpful to people doing the Gold Coast Marathon. You can find out information about the marathon, tips to do, what to do after you're there. So it's a really clever way of using an infographic because people will keep this. They will bookmark it and they will remember you for being helpful. And this one I love too. I'm going to scroll through because it's a long one. I got very excited about this, and I don't know whether you guys have used this for anything else because I found it, yay, hey Sos. I found it on Pinterest, right? And then my brain went, repurpose. But as you scroll down, there's all these sections of different things you can do on the Queensland bucket list. Now this could be turned into blog posts, it could be turned into snackable images, like each section could be made into a different image that could be shared out. And there's so much that can be done to this. It can be split up into different tips, so it can be then made into images or shared on Twitter or Facebook. And I really love this end part, which is how to do a digital detox holiday versus a wellness holiday versus an outdoor holiday. Those 4 boxes alone is just a mountain of content. And nobody bakes a single cupcake, so why would you only create one image? And I've put this up here just to remind you that you don't need to panic about the time it takes to do these, because if you do a number of them at once, you can get a whole heap of content done. Once you're doing one image, do a few of them. There's no point in coming back to it later. So batch your images. And I did these in a matter of minutes on WordSwag. I won't start talking about WordSwag, sound like a mad WordSwag fan. But it's very quick. And the typography is all there. You don't have to think or be creative. You just have to put the words in and then pick one of the designs. So you own your blog and you own your newsletter or email list. They're the only 2 things that you really own. Everything else is out on rented land. The reason why I say start a blog and housing your visual content on your website is because of this. Who here would love to do their marketing on autopilot so it's just going great guns when they're asleep and they don't have to think about it? Me? Yeah. Well, it's happening right now. All you have to do is tap into it. Did you know that 85% of content that's being pinned to Pinterest is being pinned by users, by people out there, not the actual brands? Did you know that? 85%. 15% is being pinned to Pinterest by brands. So that means that 85% of the content on Pinterest is from people coming over to websites and pinning what they love. Okay, so if there's nothing on the website for them to pin, then you're missing out on that. So a lot of tourism and accommodation and travel sites that I looked at are missing out on that. There's not a lot of content being pinned. You can do a check on it. You can do a search on it. And I've got that in the resource notes of how to do it. It's a Pinterest search. And I'll just show you an example. I did find one. Obviously, these guys I went to because I thought hopefully they'll have lots of images to share. When I did the search, this is what happens. As you scroll down, it just gives you all the images being shared by consumers. Okay? So if this is being done well, if they've got good-sized images on their website, this will just scroll on and on and on and on and on. If it stops after a couple of scrolls, then you probably need to think about whether you've got more, whether you can put more visual content on your site, whether you can make sure that it's at least 200 by 200 pixels, but portrait size works best. Okay? So do an audit. Go and have a look at your site and try and pin some stuff and see what's on there and set it up so that people can come and share your content. So a little take action. These are 3 things I want you to do at some point. Batch 1 or 2 weeks of images. You know, do some tips or quotes or how-tos. Create a checklist of some sort, even if it's a really simple one, and do an audit. It's basically pinterest.com/source/your website without the W's, but I've got it on the resource page so you can get it from there. Okay. So the second step is to involve your fans. So invite your fans to give their 2 cents. We really love to give our opinion and to give our 2 cents and to have a say, even if it's really not something we'd normally be interested in. When you ask someone for their opinion, they'll give it. You know, they'll help you to make a decision. And go behind the scenes. The stuff that you think is boring in your business or in your destination that's behind the scenes might actually be interesting to your community. They just want to feel involved. It's a human thing. We just want to be involved. And take us with you. This is the very essence of Instagram. You have a camera in your pocket and you're taking photos as you're being mobile. So don't take photos of, you know, businesses shouldn't take photos of products and services. It's about where you are and experiencing the world. And Monique from Ground does this very well. She takes photos of everything. In fact, she said to me that her partner said, she said, I've deleted all the photos off my phone. He said, well, how many have you got now after a week on? Oh, 1,267. She takes that many photos. But it's of everything, behind the scenes with the staff, preparing new menus, everything. And tap into emotions. So this is another way to involve your fans. Malolo Island Resort, has anyone ever been there? It's a great resort in Fiji, and they had cyclones about a year or 2 ago. And they had to, in early 2013, they had to shut the resort down and renovate. And after a while, they didn't really have much to post about, so they turned the page over to their fans, a bit like Australia does and Queensland does and all the other destinations, but they hadn't done that before. And they asked them to post their experiences about their holidays. Their engagement went right up. Even though it wasn't in the moment experiences, people were reliving their holidays and posting their photos, and then they posted them up as cover photos, so they got to feel special about it. So my take action for involving your fans would be to take 1 photo every day and just be consistent. Simply posting 1 great image every day can really boost your reach and engagement, okay? So just consider that. If you're not doing it, just start simple. Don't try and do 5 a day because you'll fail and stop. Start with 1 a day. And here he is. Now there's a reason why Sean's on so many presentations, and I think you all know why. He is showing us that it doesn't have to be that hard, and just, I mean, obviously he's a good photographer, but again, just posting consistently, even the same time every day, people will get used to your feeds coming through and they will look for those images. And the third step or key to making this all work is to seize the moment. And there is nothing more powerful than when a person is in your place of business, have just finished your tour, they've just had an amazing meal, they're you know, just jazzed up about their whole holiday. If you can get them to post or share or be involved or share visual content then, it's much more powerful than when they go back home. They might still do it, but they won't be as excited. So encourage real-time sharing. The Instagram Hotel in Sydney it's become the world's first Instagram hotel because they encourage a lot of Instagram photos. You know, they have a selfie corner where they actually, you know, they have a simple hashtag again, and they also have like Instagram tours that are set up by bloggers as far as being scenic tours around Sydney. Again, like you can do this you know, anyone can do this. You can set your hotels up to do this. You can have it as a way. So the right hashtag with the right message builds the right community. So consider if, you know, make sure you do have a hashtag that you're promoting, even just one simple one, and include that in everything as far as visual content will help people to share it. People look for hashtags now. And be timely and in the moment. You've probably seen this one where Tourism Australia had faith that the world would not end in 2012, despite Mayan calendar prophecies, and they had this image ready to go. So when we all woke up alive and kicking, they posted this one. There was another tweet saying, yes, we're still alive. And it went viral, and the world was very excited, and it was the best example of earned media they'd had at the time. So just be ready. We did one for International Midwives Day for a client, and it got shared. It was just an image with a quote. We took the branding off, made it one that everyone could share for all of them. It was not branded. 1,500 shares by the end of the day on a page with 1,000 fans. So don't tell me it's not about people finding good content, because they're not all creating original content. So if you can create it for them, they'll definitely share it for you. And build a slippery slope. Make it really easy for people to share. This is the perfect example of Wi-Fi on a boat. If these guys can have free Wi-Fi on a boat, we can have free Wi-Fi in a building. ProDive cans are really great at encouraging real-life, in-the-moment experiences. Granted, they do have people on a boat for 3 days, so they can do whatever they want with them, really, but they really encourage them to share between dives or night dives, so they get these sorts of posts come up, and they get a lot of organic sharing and people sharing with their friends, and you can't buy that kind of social proof that this is an awesome dive tour and the boat is just amazing. And location, location, location. Someone talked about checking in today and how important it is, and it's very easy to encourage people to do that, you know, and sometimes businesses forget it. You only have to ask. So I went for a lunch at Echidna Wines in McLaren Vale in South Australia, and I posted up the Instagram photo on the right, because we had an amazing lunch. Probably the wine might have helped a little bit. But then around the cellar door, just quite tastefully, they had, you know, encouragement to go on their social media. Please review us on TripAdvisor, it's really easy, and they gave instructions even how to do it. Ironic thing, how did I find them? Why were we there for lunch? They were number 1 on TripAdvisor. So take action, do one thing that you can encourage people to check in, provide a review on TripAdvisor, or post visual content, or share a photo on location. So I guess I want to wrap it up with this. So think about it this way. Everyone with a smartphone in their pocket is on your marketing team, be that you, your clients, your team, your staff, your partners, your operators. Everyone is on your marketing team. So never underestimate that someone can be helpful with sharing your content, especially your visual content. So I want to have a bit of fun with this. So you can get out your 3D glasses. So will you seize the moment? I want you to promise me that you'll go back, take these glasses with you, put them on your desk. You don't have to wear them in the office if you don't want to. I don't want you tripping over. But take them with you and use them as a prompt to remind yourself that, you know, to think about social media from a visual perspective. And just laughing at some of these glasses. From a visual perspective. And when you combine visual content with in the moment, real life experiences, real time experiences, then that's when you can take your social media to a whole other level. Queensland shines on me, where it shines. Queensland shines on me, where Australia shines.